the power of attention and forest therapy. That is going to be the topic of this episode of Chi Life. So I mentioned in the last vlog that I wanted to say a bit more about forest therapy and what it is. And so I'm going to do that in this vlog. And of course I'm going to tie that in with talking about Qigong as well, because there's a lot of crossover between forest therapy and how they work and what they're trying to achieve, and of course what we do in Qigong. And I've known about forest therapy for quite a while. In fact, I actually am on the board of advisors, or the advisory board, I guess probably goes more that way, of the International Nature and Forest Therapy Guides Association. So I'll put a link to that organization below, because they wanted to bring some aspects of Qigong into the work they were doing with forest therapy, and there is this huge crossover between them. So it's not like I'm completely new to the concept of forest therapy, but spending some time over the last couple of days with Susan and with Dita, who are involved with that organization, has made me think about it a bit more, and also given me an opportunity to learn about it a little bit more as well. And one of the things we talked about in one of our conversations was, for many people, looking at what people do as forest therapy guides, getting people out into nature, outdoors, and connecting to the nature around them, there can be a tendency for them to think and even say, well, that's just going for a walk in nature. I can just do that by myself. And of course you can go for a walk in nature by yourself, and that's a great thing. Yeah, definitely. Good idea to do that whenever you can. But what is it that makes going on a forest therapy walk with a guide different from just going for a walk in nature by yourself? And a big part of that is that you have a guide, of course, and the guide helps you to direct your attention to specific aspects of what you're experiencing as you're out in nature. They help you to connect to your own internal perception, and also to the details of what you're experiencing externally with the nature and how that affects you. And so as they take you through a walk, they will stop from time to time and give you different exercises or activities to do that help you to deepen this connection and appreciate it more. And when you have your attention directed in that way, the effects tend to be much, much, much more powerful. Now, could you do that by yourself? Yeah, you probably could. But would you? Would you straight away without the experience of knowing the sorts of things that maybe you could use to enhance your experience? Probably not. And even once you know, with a lot of these things, it's often easier to direct our attention if we have someone or something helping to direct our attention. Now, once we have enough skill and experience with that, well, we get much, much better at doing it for ourselves. But I think there can be huge value in having someone guide you and directing your attention, and then that having a big impact on what occurs within you as a result of that. Now, of course, this applies directly across to Qigong, where so much of what we do in Qigong, I'll compare this directly to some of the Qigong walking practices that I was teaching people just yesterday in a workshop. And some of the Qigong walking practices, there's quite a bit of nuance to, in terms of what's going on, both physically and also how that affects our psychology and so on. But on a purely physical level, the movements, for the most part, are not challenging. They're not that complicated. You could say they're not rocket science, as I did at one point during the workshop. But a big part of the power is when we bring our attention, our awareness, to what's going on within our body, within our energy, within our mind when we move in these simple patterns. And when we bring our attention to that, that then strengthens and reinforces the effect. And so from simple practices, simple movements, we can get quite a powerful effect on our body and on our energy. And you wouldn't get that same effect if you just did basically the exact same movement but without paying attention to it, because of the powerful role our mind plays in directing the subtlety of what goes on within our body and within our energy. Now, sometimes when we're doing our Qigong practice, our mind will be more active and present than others. We still do get some benefit just from doing the physical movements. Of course we do. And at other times within our Qigong practice, we might, some Qigong practices, we don't really use movement much at all. It's primarily just directed with the mind. There's different still meditations that we do where we're directing our energy, but just primarily using our mind. But often the most powerful effects from our mind come from our mind and our body being united in harmony with one another. Also using our breath as well, of course. Those are the three main tools working together, and that's how we have the most effect on our energy. And so, yeah, that ability to direct our attention makes a huge difference within our Qigong practice. So, depending where you're at with your Qigong practice, there might be some where you're just doing the movements and you're not sure what's going on. You will still get some benefit. But the more you can bring your attention, your awareness into really noticing what's going on within your body, within your energy flow, you will get more benefit from that. Anyway, I hope this has maybe been interesting for some of you, maybe learning a little bit more about forest therapy. Just because, I guess most people watching this channel are pretty interested in Qigong, doesn't mean you can't also be interested in other things as well that are going to be beneficial for you. And there is just such a harmony between Qigong and forest therapy. It's a great thing to explore if it's something you're interested in. So as I mentioned, I will put a link to that organization, to their website below, to its INTFA, so INTFA. Pretty sure those are the initials, if you want to learn some more about forest therapy. All right, I look forward to seeing you on another one soon.